Hey everybody, Mr. Kevin here from HumboldtCraftworks. It's a beautiful rainy day here in the neighborhood. I hope you're doing well, and today I'd like to talk to you about why I have top dead center on my table saw. Yeah, a lot of people are like, what's that mark? And I tell them it's top dead center. What the hell is that for? Well, top dead center means it's the highest point it possibly can get. So I'm going to show you how to put top dead center on your table saw so you can set your blades and know exactly where they are. Because if you ever used your little one of those things, the little bar indicator things, or a depth gauge, or you use your square and you set it on there, put it to the top of your blade, and then you make a cut, and it's like, oh man, that's still too short, or damn, that's too tall. And hopefully you used a test piece first before you ran your dado or your rabbit or whatever you're making on your table saw, and you're like, man, well, that's too low, or that's too high. And the reason that is because you weren't on top dead center. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to set top dead center on your table saw. Top dead center. Why is it on my table saw? Huh. So I use top dead center to set the height of my blade from the table saw table to the height of the blade. And let's say you want a 1/4 inch. What I do is I have a bunch of these little things right here. So if you use little setup bars like this, I call them shims. You can call them whatever you want. Or you use a depth gauge, or you use a square to set your height. Knowing top dead center will make sure that you're on top dead center, and you will, when you set it and forget it, it'll be like, okay, there it is, boom. This will save you a lot of time. You won't have to go, oh, now I gotta go up, now I gotta go down. Oh crap, it's all different. Because you know how this goes. You put this on there, and then sometimes it tilts up, sometimes it's down, and once you got it on there, that's great, and then it barely touches, you're like, okay, that'll work. And then you go to run a piece, and it's a little short because the blade was forward of the center line of your top dead center mark, you know, and yeah. That'll just help you out. And I also put it on the fence of my table saw, and I'll go over all that shortly. So I'm gonna go set up over on the table saw, and we'll get all that done, and off we go. Magic button. We'll see you in a minute. All right, bye. So I use this jig here with all the different ones instead of using the setup bars that I have that are made out of brass, or the depth gauge that I always break or lose somehow, or my square. You got a square, like a little square like this. Sometimes you'll set it at whatever you want, you know. So I got an inch deep, and then put it on here, and you set your blade, right? And then you check it, and it's like, man, that's too low. And you do it again, and it's too short. Now it's too tall. And that's because you can move this wherever when you're setting it, and you might think I got it. But if you're not on the top dead center of that spot, the sweet spot on your table saw where the blade is the highest, it's always going to be a little off. These are the 4 most common sizes that I use from blade height. For the blade height, I use 1/8 inch, and there's 1/4 inch, there's 5/16, and there's 3/8. And I use those the most, and I just basically took a piece of maple, set the blade height with my calipers, and got it right on the money, because I had top dead center on there, and I knew exactly what the apex of this blade was, and that's the highest point. And then I used my milling blade, my ripping blade, because it's square tooth, and then I just dadoed this out, boom, 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 went in about, you know, whatever that is, 3/8, 1/4, 5/16, whatever. They're all a little different. So you're gonna need a pencil, some tape. I wish I had wider tape. It's on a job somewhere, and a square to find top dead center. And it's not hard to do. It's just very simple. So here, all right, what we're doing is going to bring the blade back until it hits the square. Ooh. Which is right there, right to the edge of the tape. Put a little pencil mark here like this. Okay? Okay. So we're just going to use a scrap piece of wood because you can hear it better. Oh my goodness. So what we're going to do is going to come in until it knocks it. Boom. I'm pushing down, and right there is where that blade just barely misses it. Okay, so we're going to put a line here too. Ooh. Put a little thing like that. Okay, and then we're just gonna, you can measure it or you can mic it. If you have the opportunity to buy a shiny blade or a matte blade, always buy the matte blade. Easier to read. The shiny ones, you can see, are just crazy and they get all shiny and you can't read them, but they get really dark, you can't see nothing. These blades you can read no matter how the light is or whatever. Just a 2-tip Tuesday thing. So we're going to measure that, and that is 2 3/4. All right. So that's 2 3/4. So you just got to divide that in half. So it's 1 3/8. So we're going to come over 1 3/8. If I can see correctly. All right. There's 1 3/8. Put the blade down now. I'm going to take our trusty little triangle square, 1 3/8, and we're going to make a line here. Alright, this is your center line. Then we're going to bring this up here like this. Oh, poop. And I'm going to mark this on there. Okay, and that is your center line. What I did, I took a little scribing tool and I took on my square. Right like that, and I came across here and I scratched in a line all the way across. Okay. Not on the fence, but just on the tabletop itself. You can see I got a mark here. Well, hopefully you can see that. And I got this center line right here. Okay, that is the center line. So I'm going to transfer this line across here. Maybe you could see it too. I think it already has one. No, it doesn't. A lot of people freak out because you're scoring your top, but you can just sand that with 400 grit and it'll be smooth as a baby's butt. But at least this is my center line. I know this is my center line. The center line goes all through here, all the way up. Comes all the way across and all the way up. So when I go to use this here Johnson right here, top of the tooth is lined up with the center line. Okay, and that's lined up with that. Alright, come down just slightly, and that's that. Okay, so this center line, that center line, and this tooth are all lined up. And you're like, okay, there you go. That's 3/8 of an inch tall. Alright, then you lock your blade into place and do whatever you got to do. Always do a test piece first. Okay, and there you go, top dead center. And you can see the center line. You can see that center line right there. Boom. It goes all the way across here, all across to my fence, and then up and over, and all that neat, happy horse doo-doo. And there you go. So transferring the top dead center line to your table saw fence means you can also transfer it to other things like your sled. Right here, okay? You got good old Betsy the sled. So let's just say, put it forward like this. Let me put a line. Alright, so here's top dead center, let's just say. And we transfer that line using Mr. Pinnacle. Move this thing out of the way. Alright, we just mark the line across here. Let me see, you want to mark this here like this all the way across. And then we want to use this Johnson here. Okay, and then we have this line here, which doesn't really matter because this is the same height no matter what you do to it. But you have to line this line up with this line, which is lined up with that line, right? And get it all lined up. There we go, all lined up. So we're gonna line up that line. This is gonna be the tooth that's sticking up. And we bring it down. And boomity boom. And there it is. Yeah, so you line this line up with that line. And boomity boom. That would give you the height of this. So having this on here, you can also transfer it on you can transfer it from the fence onto your jigs and boomity boom, there you go. Another reason to put top dead center on there. It's not that a lot of people do this, but I do. Sometimes I like to make little shoulder cuts for mortise and tenon things, and I use my sled because it's much easier to do than using my miter gauge. So there's another one for you. Okay, so this is the other jig I use quite often. It's a slip feather jig. It's making little slip feathers for the like ornate little things for jewelry boxes and stuff like that. So I have the top dead center is marked from the saw onto my fence, and the blade for this, and I don't know if you can see it or not. You probably can't. Let me take these off. So if you see this line here, what I do is I line this line up with this groove here. I make slip feathers with this that goes on the side of a jewelry box. I'll put a picture of it like over here somewhere. There's a picture of one. It's on my intro or whatever. A little jewelry box. I do that quite often. So let's say that this thing here is a jewelry box. All right, how this works is put this in here. Put it in there like that. And then you put the blade up to a certain height, then you run it through there, okay? Well, this already has dovetails in it. Well, that would look silly. But anyway, let's say it didn't have dovetails, all right? So we're gonna put this in there like that. We're gonna make a run, boom, and it's gonna give it a little slip feather. Oh, look. And it would look like that, a little notch, okay? So if you wanna do a pattern where you have narrow notches to deeper notches and then back again, what you have to do is you have to raise the blade up. Let's do it like this. You see it coming through there, okay? So when I line this line up with this here, then I know how high the blade's gonna be, and I'll know how tall the blade's gonna be. And that's kind of important when you're making stuff that you want it symmetrical looking. There's another reason I put top dead center on my table saw and on my fence, because I transfer it from my fence to the jigs, and then I know how tall the blade is when it's like right there. Voila. All right, on to the next thing. Bye. Top dead center. It's on my table saw, it's on the insert, and it's on my fence. And the reason I do that is easier and faster to get the height exactly the way you want it. Some of my jigs, like the dovetail or the slip jig, the slip feather jig, and also my cove molding jig. I need to know if you've seen the cove molding video. It's over there somewhere. How to make cove molding on a table saw. You definitely need to know where the center of top dead center is when you're doing that for sure, because of the way the angle is and all that. Yeah, so and there you go. If you have any questions or comments, please do so below, and I'll answer them as soon as I possibly can. All right, we'll see you soon. All right, well, it's time to go. You have an awesome day. Go outside and play. Hug somebody you love. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you next time right here on Woodworking with Mr. Kevin. That's me, right here on the YouTubes. We'll see you later, and bye. I'm gonna get you with something. I'm gonna get you a piece of plywood. All right, here we go. We'll see you. What do they call them damn things? They call them something. Highest porch possible. You can use, what are those things called? Yeah. There you go. That doesn't work. So I use it for setting the height of the. I did it again. Booger snot. Did it work? It probably didn't. All right. End of story. Next. Bye.